I remember the first time I laid eyes on him, I knew he had it, and I watched him body slam Andre the Giant live years before WrestleMania 3 when he was a heel with Blassie. I'm in the second row, and my chair is shaking. Hogan then becomes Thunder Lips, changes everything and transcends. Hogan was one of those people, not just the wrestler, but if you just poked anybody on the streets, let's say Singapore, and showed them a picture, they know that's Hulk Hogan. So no Hulk Hogan, no nothing. Mike?
I think people have to realize that we're all human and we all have errors within our life. But when you look at things, you realize when you put it on the scale, Hulk Hogan has done much more for this world, for the wrestling fan and beyond the wrestling fan than anything that he's been accused of. So Hulk Hogan is my hero. He'll remain my hero. And it was a sad day yesterday. It still remains a sad day.
I was thinking about this yesterday. Ironically, I was on the 11 o'clock show when this broke, and, we had to deal with it live, which was interesting because so many thoughts rush into your head. And we've talked often, Jimmy and Mike, I'm just a little bit behind you, but generally I'd say the same generation. And I think for us, we came up with Hulk Hogan kind of was wrestling, the charisma, the
eat your vitamins.
Yeah, exactly, and all of that. And we have, a much more full view, kind of to what Ross was talking about with the haters. Jimmy, I think you nailed it. It's a lot of younger people who maybe weren't around to truly receive the benefit for what he was able to do. Look, it was critical you had the right person for Vince McMahon taking this engine national. It was a perfect marriage. He was the guy who was able to do that. And I'm just so thankful that, that was it, because it's given me a lifelong love of wrestling.
Well, what the haters don't seem to understand and it goes to show, is the microcosm of wrestling is always like reflective of society itself. It goes to show that what they don't understand, since we lived through it, I know I did.
Yeah.
We actually believed at the core of our hearts, this country believed at the core of its heart, that we are more good than bad as people, that we should say our prayers and take our vitamins, and that Hulk Hogan was the wrestling equivalent to Captain America. Now imagine that, us having the nerve to be that optimistic. This is before the internet and cell phones, folks. Okay? We actually did believe this, and we believe this man. And it's okay to still love Hulk Hogan, the character. If you have a problem with Terry Bollea, that's your problem, but you shouldn't get so isolated in personal hate for someone who gave so much to something you love, because most of his haters are wrestling fans, my friend.
Yes, I agree.
see them all the time. So it's just like, are you going to be that historically ignorant? This goes back to... See them all the time. So it's just like, are you going to be that historically ignorant? This goes back to Babe Ruth could not succeed today. Please don't start this stuff. Because without the blueprint, we're not even talking about this.
That's right.
I think that Hogan is bigger to wrestling than what Babe Ruth is to baseball.
The fact that they're in the same conversation, I think, says enough, and you can, go either way with that.
Mike, I'm going to start with you first on this because, obviously we could get into the dichotomy between, the people who don't like Hulk Hogan and the people who understand his importance to the business. Honestly, you should be able to do both, even if you're like that. But I want to get off of that and get into this. I'm going to go to you first, Mike. Either like a first memory of Hulk Hogan or maybe a favorite memory of Hulk Hogan you had, whether it was childhood or later in life.
Coach, I'll go with this. So many memories, but as far as wrestling goes, I could remember being 16 years old, going to Madison Square Garden to see the war to settle the score between Hogan and Piper. Even speaking about it today at my age, the goosebumps on my arms, what I witnessed that night were two professionals who made you believe they hated each other.
Yep.
There was something on the line that was so important. That WWE title could not get in Roddy Piper's hands. And the way they went at it is probably, to any wrestling fan who has never seen this, I dare you to tell me this is not one incredible match. My second favorite moment, just a few years ago, I personally got to go to the beach shop, got to meet my hero, really nervous, and the guy was nothing more than a gentleman who spent more than enough time with this old man, and we got to be able to share with each other our thoughts about each other, this country, and I got to say my piece with him. So that's where I am with that.
He was great.
Yeah.
I got to meet him too, fortunately and thankfully. But he was great. They say don't, be careful if you meet your hero.
Yeah, right.
Well, not in this case, brother.
I was talking about, we were live on the air and all these thoughts were flooding me, and I'm just younger enough I really didn't know of him in the AWA, let's say, or his first run with Vince Sr.
Okay.
Before Thunder Lips, famously, he took a real chance there, and Vince Sr. said, don't do it. He said, no, I'm going to do it.
Good move.
Elevated his start. Yeah, very good move. So I remember that. I obviously remember him beating the Sheik, which was a big deal. I remember the war to settle the score and this stuff with Mr. T, but the visual I had, the one that just, and you talk about the goosebumps, I had them thinking about it. Piper's Pit, the fake tears, as we all know, and all this, but the answer, everything about my love for Hulk Hogan was in that answer, that yes, when he accepted the challenge with Andre. It just, I still smile like I'm an 8-year-old kid watching, or whatever, 10-year-old kid, whatever I was at the time watching that. It's like you said, I think you said it perfectly, Jimmy. He made you believe, and he was our Captain America.
And he's got like a fistful of those moments, by the way.
Yeah.
When he stares down at Andre, looks up at Andre, that's Roman Coliseum stuff, what's going on there. And then you fast forward to, the magic of him and Warrior at WrestleMania 6. That's another, pillar, his NWO heel turn.
Yeah.
How many pillars does this man have? By the way, that's where he reinvents wrestling for the second time.
Right.
Because you don't have anything that follows after that. So Hogan did it twice.
They literally tore that arena up.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
It's one of those things, Mike, where, there are people who can get you interested in that. I want to see this match. Hogan had so many moments that he set up, and this is a skill very few people in this business's history have possessed. Yeah, real quick.
How many Real American beers have you all had in the last 24 hours?
That would be 0 because I'm trying to lose weight.
That would be 0 because I've had different types,
Mike,
unfortunately.
have you had a Real American beer, brother?
No, because it tastes awful.
Leave it to my partner. There we go.
Well,
there it is.
I've been thinking, and obviously I've been reading up a lot on the tributes, and they're coming in from everywhere. And yeah, there are a few haters out there, but actually the amount of tributes has been really nice to see. And there's an old phrase, particularly in the old school wrestling days, when the house shows were what mattered to the bottom line more than television. And Eric Bischoff is, God forbid, he's the one who hit it exactly right. Because the thought that I had as the perfect kind of epithet for anybody saying goodbye to Hulk Hogan, the old phrase, thank you for the house.
Sure.
Eric Bischoff nailed it with that, because all of professional wrestling should say to Hulk Hogan, thank you for the house.
We've had so many guests. We've had over literally hundreds at this point, right? Right, Mike? We've had hundreds of Hall of Famers or guys who should be in the Hall of Fame. So many great guests, and it's all.
What do they say, Jimmy? What do they say to you every time?
Well, now you've done it because
thank you for the
yes,
house.
every one of them has said on the show that if they were on a card with Hulk Hogan, they were grateful. Yeah. He was always kind, too. As Tony Atlas said last night on our show, Hulk Hogan never made you feel small.
Yeah.
No matter what they may say about his positioning. And wouldn't you defend that position if you have turned the sport that you worked so hard to break into? Now you're the Babe Ruth of it, and you damn right you're going to protect the position.
Well, and certainly in the era they came up.
And they say that he didn't put people over. Nobody would. He laid down for Ultimate Warrior. Mm-hmm. He laid down for Goldberg. Mm-hmm. He laid down for people. He did lay down for people. Just because he didn't lay down for Bret Hart, and Bret Hart will never stop whining about it, doesn't mean that Hulk Hogan was a selfish guy. He just said that didn't work for me, brother, because maybe he felt Bret Hart wasn't the right one. 100%. That's what happens sometimes. Oh, well. I'm done. I'm done. I'm good. Go ahead.
On that, guys, we need to head to a break real quick. We come back. we may have some more thoughts, but we're going to pivot over to kind of what's coming up. We got a 2-night SummerSlam on the horizon here we need to get into, and we'll do more of that with Monte and the Pharaoh. You're listening to the Afternoon Underdogs here on ESPN
Northwest Florida.
Atlanta Braves back on the road, hopefully not to lose again, but we're going to Texas to play the Rangers, and that'll pick up here in about a little more than 15 minutes. So let's get right back into wrestling with Monte and the Pharaoh, Long Island and Northwest Florida's #1 wrestling show here. And guys, so real quick, I kind of wanted, before we get to SummerSlam, I wanted to get your basic thoughts on, we've had a crowded summer, Saturday night's main event, and then Mike, you and I will probably have a little more interest in the Evolution show. So, Jimmy, fire away.
Well, with Bye Goldberg, I thought it was a solid enough match for the expectation level. I thought they did fine. Goldberg complaining afterwards. They actually did him a disservice. They really shouldn't have aired his goodbye speech at all, because it was Atlanta based. It wasn't really like thank you to the WWE universe or the people I worked with in the past and stuff. It was more goodbye to the Atlanta area. So to me, it was like they should have gone off the air with him holding up.
It'd have been a great thing to release on social afterwards.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly. So I think that was handled poorly, but for Goldberg to complain about it afterwards, it's like, bro, shut up. Come on, stop it. You know, you had a nice enough send-off, and the roster's packed lately. You got a lot of big names that are busy right now. This is seen as farewell tour, and
Sure.
you know, what's going on with Punk and Rhodes, and Roman's still in the picture now, thank God. And, you know, there's a lot going on. You got your moment. Be happy.
Yeah.
So that was my take on that.
Mike, you and I have tended to be a little more, you know, fans of kind of the big stable of women's talent that they have now. I had very little expectations going into Evolution. Did seem like they built it well, but I don't know how you felt. We haven't talked about it since then, but man, I thought they over-delivered and put on just a great show at Evolution.
Here it comes.
I thought they embarrassed the men over the weekend. It wasn't even close. That Evolution card was incredible. I would even say this, Coach and Jimmy, that Rhea against Io Sky might have been the greatest women's match that I've ever seen.
Okay.
And the cash-in was just made it even better.
They did it so well.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
I will give them that. Naomi going heel was something I've wanted to see for years because she's been so bland. So this is better, you know.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
She's a way better heel.
No.
Yeah, this is much better.
The development of her character has been nothing short of amazing.
Yeah, how to make her interesting.
They have nailed it.
Yeah.
And she's leaned into it. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's been so good, and they are just embarrassed with riches of talent on the female side. They've elevated several. They've got another crop of 3 or 4 who are right behind, ready to come up too.
I think just to see what Bianca comes back, if she comes back heel.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, there's a possibility on that, but you know that'll be that. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I ask you guys, who do you think is the best women's wrestler on the roster right now?
I think the one who's been the most valuable to them has been Io.
Valkyria's been phenomenal lately.
She's been good, and look, Liv was doing great work before her injury. Rhea is the most talented and is the biggest star. I think Io has allowed them to do so many different things because she kind of fits a role for them. And I just think she's been the most valuable to them, if that makes sense.
Could I ask you this, Coach and Jimmy? To me, Roxanne Perez has turned out to be a shining star, not just on the mic.
Yeah.
She is so fluid in the ring.
Yep.
I'm in shock that she's this good.
She's very good. I've always been a huge fan of Julia, who I'm a little worried is getting lost in the mix with so much talent. Stephanie Vaquer is over. You know, Lyra's doing great work. And then we haven't even talked about Charlotte, who's got a new lease on life with this pairing with Alexa Bliss. We haven't talked about Becky, who's doing some great work as well. You know, Bailey's completely lost in the mix. Bianca, we haven't talked. I mean, it's an amazing wealth of talent that they have.
Rhea's the biggest star in that.
But she is.
Rhea,
so
to me, it's right now, currently, as far as who is the current and who is the future of that. Mike, to me, it's the 3. It's Rhea, it's Bianca, and yes, it's Stratton.
Yeah.
So that's really what they're concentrating on, and I think Rhea right now is the lead singer of those 3. Period.
Jimmy, that's a great comment, but the only thing I'll say is Tiffany Stratton, I believe her stock is starting to go down.
I think so.
Not having the greatest matches. She's struggling on the mic. I that's what I personally feel, but that's just me.
Yeah.
It peaked with Charlotte.
Well, hard for Saturday night, guys. We're going to, and no order,
Sure.
we're going to have Gunther CM Punk for the title. We're going to have Tiffany Stratton Jade Cargill for the title. We're going to have Randy Orton and Jelly Roll, never thought I'd say that, versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. We've got Raquel and Roxanne versus Alexa and Charlotte in what might be a sleeper match on this show. Roman and Jay versus, they need to stop calling them Braun. It's a bad name for two behemoths. And Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross. So, Jimmy, anything kind of in that Saturday night you're really looking for? Maybe outside of Gunther Punk, obviously.
What was that stupid match with the Logan Paul?
The Jelly Roll.
That's so stupid. God, I hate matches like this. You know, I mean, what happened to wrestling? Even that, like when Lawrence Taylor fought Bam Bam Bigelow and actually had a really good match, and you saw that a football player took the thing seriously, and it was a good match.
You know, never got the credit for that? Bam Bam.
Yeah, of course he gets it. Well, he does get the credit for that. He should be in the Hall of Fame, but I regress. But matches like that is so stupid. I guess if that thing plays out the way you guys talked about with Punk and stuff, that'll be a cool moment. But why am I not gravitating to anything here? I'm not gravitating to... Mike, help me. What's going on here?
Mike, is it maybe suffering from not being able to long-term tell these stories?
Yeah.
Coach, can we move to night 2, please?
All right, let's do that.
Oh, my God.
All
Like,
right,
this
done.
night 1 is like so indifferent. What am I watching? Joe Besser, Three
Okay,
Stooges?
because we've got a good Sunday night. So let's move on to Sunday night here. Sunday, we have 5 confirmed matches. We may add one tonight on SmackDown. Who knows? But we've got Dominic Mysterio versus AJ Styles, which has turned out to be hilarious. AJ's playing a good comedic role in this lead-up. Dom always does.
Right.
We've got Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu in a steel cage.
Do we? Mike,
Yeah,
do we have Solo Sikoa or no?
Uh-oh.
I don't know. I heard he's in jail, right?
Serious. I don't know what's going on here.
All right, well, I'll leave that for tonight.
Yeah, let
we
us
have
know.
Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria for about the 18th time, but they've always put on good matches. Now, we have the triple threat, Naomi versus Io versus Rhea for the women's title, and we have Cody versus Cena in a street fight, which changes the rules a little bit. So, Mike, we'll start with you. What are we looking at here on Sunday?
Cody versus Cena will just be awful. I can tell already. All right, so that's just forget about it.
Who's winning it,
We'll go
though?
with the three-way with the women. It's good off the hook. Who's winning that?
Yeah, who's winning?
Cody's going to win it.
Cody's going to win.
And I don't know if he turns heel. Maybe he turns heel. I don't know. I don't know.
That could be the interesting
Is this
part.
how we're taking the title of John?
It could be. Well,
Or Truth is going to come out and do something.
It's so no. I think they're going to try the double turn.
We're going to take the title off John now.
I think they're going to try the double turn and try and play the last 6 months of Cena as a face.
Mike, would that work? Would that work, Mike?
Jimmy, I'm not sure. I got to be honest with you.
I'm not either.
Sure.
There is the conundrum. What do you do with the greatest face of all time that's just had a successful heel turn? What do you do with him? How do you return him to form? This is interesting. Do you think that this will happen? That's interesting.
You know what, though, Mike? We talked about this leading into WrestleMania, and there was thoughts that maybe Cody might, or maybe it was probably more into Elimination Chamber. Could Cody actually complete the heel turn? And we always said about the only person he could actually do it on would be a guy like Cena.
Yeah.
So if they're going to try it, this is probably as good a time as any.
Especially, I'm gonna predict that Jersey crowd's gonna be pro Cena.
I would think so.
So yeah.
Wow. Very
It could be interesting. I do have this, Mike, because I know we talk about the women a lot, and this triple threat on paper looks like they have so much good chemistry together. They have a good long-term story together. I am maybe let me know if I'm too close to the edge of the bridge here. I'm a little worried they're going back to the well of Rhea and Io a little too much. I wish they'd let it breathe a little more. You know, I worry we're trying to follow up something that was so good so quickly. I'm a little worried they're going to the well too quickly. Does that make sense?
It does make a lot of sense, but part of me also loves the fact they just keep on going through that Rhea has never beaten Io. She didn't beat her.
That's
on the
right.
passion, right? So they keep going. You know, Coach, I'll take my chances because I just think that match is going to be off the hook. You throw Naomi in it. In fact, I thought they should have put Naomi with Jade and Tiffany, but obviously you couldn't since she's on Raw. So I think it's going to be off the hook. I'm all in on that match.
I hope so too. So guys, 2 nights of SummerSlam. Obviously, there's a lot of different things can happen. Got about 2 minutes left. Monday after SummerSlam, what's going to be the major storyline, the major talking point coming out of this event?
Mike, you're all over this stuff. You better help me with this one.
I think the major talking point is, first of all, the Cena, it's going to be Seth Rollins is going to be the champion, and Roman's coming out. But I just don't know if it's too early for Roman and Seth. I think Cody's turning heel, and I think that's the big talk. So maybe Cody comes out at Raw. I'm not sure. I got to tell you, night one is I might go out to dinner that night.
Are the fans ready to embrace John Cena again? I've loved his heel turn. I'm sorry, this has only been going on for.
I think they already are.
His past
they
couple.
already are, Jimmy. They're all over it.
Yeah.
Really?
His past couple TV appearances, there's been more cheers than boos.
But you got to be careful with that. Is that just because of the character, or is it because they really are tired of him? So what if you do the face turn and they're like, go away anyway? Anybody thinking about that?
Yeah, it's true. Look, one of the hardest things to manufacture and engineer on your own is a planned double turn. The best ones
it's difficult.
have happened organically,
very
and they've just
difficult.
run with it. So I would love it. I think it could be cool. but
Fans ready to hate Cody?
Golly, I don't
Fans ready to hate Cody real quick?
I think
I
so.
hate him already, Jimmy. I
Okay.
hate him.
Okay, you've seen it. Well, you've always hated him. Asking you if you hate Cody is not really going to be,
Oh, my gosh.
I want to see R-Truth play something in
There we
Cena's
go.
drop.
Well, guys, they're playing us off here, but as always, I love